Hey guys, welcome to Tuesday. Welcome to Corey and Michael, or Kuhlman and Corey, or whatever the fuck we're calling it. Episode 6.
You clicked on it.
Yeah, that title.
Just read it, bitch.
What are we doing today, buddy? Oh, you're drinking coffee, so I guess I'll just talk to myself.
You're doing an intro, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, episode 6. I already said it. Fuck out of here. We're doing. We're gonna squeeze Gladiator into this podcast, but it's just gonna be us shooting this shit. Buckets. Did you make it?
Yeah.
Nice.
You know, if I didn't,
I'm
gonna say that I did. So I heard today that they have AI that can write programs. If you have a sports game that happens based on the stats of the sports game, which are auto-generated, that an AI program can write a story about just using the stats from the game. They can write like the fill-in, which player did
this, a play-by-play type thing, and all this happened.
No, like a sports article.
Oh.
Yeah, like you would click on ESPN News.
I'm not familiar enough with sports articles to be like, oh, that's like a valid, or not valid. I shouldn't say valid, but that's like plausible, or I could see that. I don't know. I just.
I'm
don't
sure
know
if you're
enough
super
about
into
this.
basketball and you were reading a story on your favorite team that you watched the game, you're like, no, who is like this person barely watched the game, or
Right.
they just gave the stats, but it just seems off. Like, as a person
Right.
doesn't write it with their voice, but to a viewer that doesn't know at all the difference between the two, and they just want to click on the update and they want to read an article,
Right.
then it's.
That's odd that people would want to read an article about a sports game. Like,
I used to read.
It's a spectator sport, so you want
Yeah.
to watch. And if you
People
didn't
are at
watch,
work,
then you just
dude.
want to watch the highlights. But you're still not gonna read. Like, if you're gonna read the article, you might as well watch the video. Like, that's what I do for the Broncos anymore.
Yeah, but people
football in total is
people
like,
are at work, bro. I mean, they're clicking on it the next Friday morning. You just have a Thursday night football game, and you want to read about what happened. So you click on the article written by so and so sports commentator. Yeah. So that was kind of
So how does
interesting.
that tie into your belt?
Nothing-
buckets? No,
nothing
you
at all.
Basketball,
Just-
and that's when straight
Yeah.
to AI. Nice.
Yeah.
Just
Just
trying to connect the dots for all those listeners at home, all 0 of them.
yeah. We have to have listeners that are interested in stuff. So we're like shotgun approach. Whatever sticks to the wall, we'll.
No, isn't the saying like throw spaghetti at the wall and see if it sticks?
Yeah.
And then it's done.
Yeah. That's like a real thing.
Right, because pasta getting heat up in the beginning stages of cooking it, it's sticky, and that's why you have to stir it or add oil to it. So you throw it at
Salt.
the wall, and that's how you know it's done.
My mom used to do that growing up. She would take
noodle?
a noodle,
Yeah.
and then she would eat it, and then she'd like bite off it and throw it, and if it stuck at the counter on the
On the cupboards.
the cupboards, and we saw it like slowly peel off, she's like, it's done. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
We
thank
thought-
God for
you know-
modern technology.
you
Where
know
we can
so-
Google to be like, when are my noodles supposed to be done? After 8 minutes.
One more funny thing about my mom is she thought she was Italian growing up for years. We did she spit in a cup with the like DNA test,
Yeah.
and came back. She's like
What do you-
16%.
What do you mean spit in a cup?
That's how you do it with the DNA. You do you either spit in a cup or you do a swab of your,
And you like
and you send it
spit
in.
in a cup and you mail it.
Don't make any spit in a cup with my mom jokes. Don't go there, Corey. Don't do that to me.
I was not going to.
Can we edit that out?
Yeah, I will probably have to.
Can we get our editor on this?
Hey, Alex.
Alex. Zeke is our editor.
That's too much pressure.
There's too much pressure.
Yeah.
One of these days we're gonna get a call in from Zeke.
No, we're gonna have him as a guest.
You're right. Hey, should we talk about the movie so that people aren't clicking off the video? I think at this point, 4 minutes in, people would already click off if they were interested by the Gladiator to come in, and we're not talking about it till now.
I said Gladiator within the first 30 seconds,
Yeah,
but it's fine.
it's all good. We're doing it how we want.
Yeah, this is our project. We don't have to conform to the world or whatever the fuck.
You don't like it, you can leave.
Yeah. But give us your money.
Subscribe to the Patreon. But then you can leave.
By the way, you have to watch in order to give us a view or to give us any sort of. Oh no, maybe it's not YouTube. It's Twitch, where you have to be in the chat watching for over like about an hour period, and
Really?
you have to like make some sort of like interaction. So you have to type something in the chat like every 10 minutes in order for the
Thing to pick
streamer
up, yeah.
to have any sort of like constant viewership, or for it to like count towards their numbers to like give them, for those people who are eventually make it to, what is it called, Patreon or
partnered.
Partnered, yeah. So I learned that the other day because I was talking with one of my friends.
So you got to have some interaction, some engagement.
Yeah. You can't just like be watching and be kind of a lurker in a channel and that gives them anything. It doesn't work like that anymore.
Okay.
So they're a little bit
You
more
can't
strict.
just be a passive watcher, viewer.
Correct.
Which is how majority of people interact with streams.
Yeah.
They just leave it on.
Yeah.
It's
made me think like a lot of the early streamers started off with like bots. They would just like have the viewer and then they would spam something, or here's the link that we're doing, all these different bots.
Tons of botters. Yeah. I saw like in-depth articles on Reddit on how you can prove that this guy was botting, and it's like peak times and how many viewers, and you saw the spike here, and like
when he pressed on for all the bots at the same time because he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's kind of cool stuff.
Yeah.
We're big into Twitch. Well, I guess more. I would say I
haven't
used
watched
to
a Twitch stream in.
Neither have I.
In probably since like the beginning of the summer. Because that's when you have more time, and that's where streamers kind of like come out a little bit more. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this big summer thing, or here's my summer project, or here's the lineup of games that I want to play, and you kind of like tune in every day. Oh, they're gonna be live. I don't kind of want to miss anything, or a new game comes out, and then I'll go to Twitch and be like, hey, let me watch someone play this before I pull the trigger on this pre-order. Anyway,
watched a movie.
How long ago did we watch it? 2 weeks.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks Saturday, something like that.
Yeah.
Today's today's not the weekend. I'm thinking like Saturday already.
Yeah, it's not even the weekend yet.
Nope.
You are the one that suggested this movie because it's in your top 5 list.
Correct.
Why is the movie Gladiator from 2000, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Russell Crowe?
I mean,
soundtrack by Hans Zimmer.
Sold. Yeah, I mean, you already sold it.
Just everything right there.
Those hit all.
But you didn't know that when you first watched the movie,
sure,
and so
sure.
that was, I mean,
which is also like interesting because that like shows how much I appreciated his direction, the acting portrayed by Russell Crowe, obviously the music. I don't think Hans Zimmer did it. Did he?
Yeah.
Did you just look it up?
Yeah, I looked it up.
That's crazy too because we didn't really. My family.
It's the best-selling soundtrack of a movie of all time.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very iconic. Like I'll hear songs that I'll be like, oh, that's kind of like from Gladiator. But I think probably growing up, it was more of like the story. Obviously, younger, I'm not gonna have. Like,
when did you first watch it?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably
was it a couple years after it came out.
Yeah. I'm not sure if we like rented it, VHS or DVD or
VHS, dude.
Widescreen, full screen.
I heard the last movie that was ever on VHS. Do you know this? Was
I think you've told me.
A History of Violence, 2007. Last VHS movie. Not even that great.
Well, last mass-produced VHS movie, right? Like, we could still make a movie and have some special company make a VHS.
Do you think that if you and me tried very hard, we could make a VHS movie? I don't think we could.
I think we could.
We'd have to reach out to all our Twitter followers. And
You can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. You want to make a fucking VHS movie?
You could do it.
Papa bless!
Papa bless. Probably someone like Mexico or something has a VHS that we could.
Your audience already.
We could record over a VHS tape. I mean, because even my dad took all the home videos we used to do with the camcorder with the tiny little VHS tapes,
right?
And he put those on DVDs. He did that in 2012 or something.
Yeah, you just walk into Kodak and be like, "Hey, convert it," right? Or do you go to?
No, it was at the house, and we actually got this big. The first time we bought a big, large screen TV, and that was like one of his first projects. He wanted to do it, and so all of us were kind of like over the course of like a month, walking in, watching part of our childhood. We'd sit down with a coffee and just kind of watch for an hour because you had to play all the video so that you could put on the DVD.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. That was kind of funny to.
It's like video processing, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're running it and then you're also writing it to the DVD at the same time.
Yeah, but you had to play it on the screen.
Right.
So.
Interesting.
Yeah, and then now you can skip around to DVD.
So you have all those DVDs like just hanging out. I don't think we have DVDs.
Yeah, Dad does.
I don't think we had a camcorder or anything like that until I was like 10 or 12.
All that shit's online now. Like all of people are putting it on Facebook. Like
yeah, all the millennials just have like whip out the phone and throw that shit on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's there forever type thing.
Yeah, there's so much shit on the internet.
Yeah, It's you kind of feel bad for people who like spend all that time to like put it on a hard drive, and all of a sudden, oh well, now you just have this imaginary cloud that's free, and it does it for you.
Dude, it's so crazy to think about all the shit that's uploaded every day. Just videos, movies, even today, pictures.
You're like, I made the comment something about, oh, this might be a saturated market. You know, we're talking about hot sauces, but you know,
we want to make hot sauce. We're like, nah, fuck that, because it's gonna be there's too many fucking hot sauces out there. Like, we don't. That's not a good business model. What are we gonna? How are we gonna stand out from?
Two white guys making hot sauce is not gonna sell.
Whoa, fucking original, dude. It's like two white guys doing a podcast. It's like, oh, surprise, surprise. Oh, you have a podcast? I couldn't have foreseen that.
It used to be maybe 5-6 years ago. You said you were doing a podcast, and people would like, you know, actually pay attention.
It's a big deal. Now it's like, yeah, so.
I'll just like say it in passing. Oh yeah, I got to do my podcast.
Here's the difference.
No one pays attention.
Here's the difference, though, is that this is what I've already said to you: is that podcasts are a medium. So it's like movies. You can never have too many movies because you can have indie flicks that cost a couple, like $1 million to produce, and they can go on to make dozens of millions of dollars and be in the theaters screening. You can write a book and it could be a bestseller. I mean, there's thousands of books written every year. It's a means to an end, and podcasts is what radio used to be, and now it's everybody can have a radio show. So it's just two people talking. It's what you do with that.
Yeah.
And that's infinite.
Yeah.
There's not a...
And it's funny because it used to be the problem was you didn't have enough radio choices to choose from, or not, you know, oh, I got to tune in at 8 o'clock, I got to tune in at noon.
Time dependent. That's bullshit.
Or region dependent and all this stuff. And now there's like...
Anytime.
Too many.
Yeah.
You go to any podcast app, you're like, all right, I'm interested in this subject, and then 1 through 100, and you gotta kind of weed through them, and you can start at the top. Oh, I'm not interested in this and this and this. Like, I try to find another type of podcast, like Tuesdays and Stories, like just comedians, and I still have not found one that scratches that itch like they do. So
the name of the game right now.
Don't spoil it.
No, the name of the game is attention and focus. It's saying if you're going to say yes to a product or service, you're saying no to all the other ones. Because there's, like, if you are looking for something to listen to on your commute to work in the morning, you can find that. And, I don't know, I don't really have more of a point than that. I heard this. Cost? No, I heard this. Yeah, it kind of is opportunity cost. I heard this on a podcast that the name of the game now is, like, attention focus and the modern person. It's not that we don't have enough, it's that we have too much information, so you have to be selective. So one of the best skills you can have in terms of life and business and getting your family oriented right is knowing what to focus on, because you can find the resource, someone else can do it. Someone at work was making fun of me because I didn't know how to use pliers to fix plumbing, and it's like, dude, I know who to call or which service to utilize so I can get that. I need to work on what I'm good at work or whatever it is. So
all those people who are healthy eaters.
I okay boomered him. Don't worry. Don't you worry, guys. So whatever, boomer.
I'm done. What age can we start saying okay boomer to?
Okay boomer's like 55 and up.
55. Okay.
Yeah.
So they got to be pretty old to be able to use that. Otherwise it's kind of like overusing them. I don't want to overuse it. I want to make it effective.
Yeah.
To my parents, to your parents.
Sure.
To the old lady server who's questioning my judgment on.
If you don't know the person, if you okay boomer them, that could not be very. That could be very rude.
I'm willing to chance it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's.
If I got a smile on my face and they can tell I'm joking.
Yeah.
If they can't, then I'll try to help them pull that stick out of their ass or something.
It's funny how many like a large percentage of old people know about memes. Like they know what okay boomer is.
A lot of percentage of old people are on their phones.
Yeah. We were talking about that the other day.
Yeah.
These fucking old people on their phones. It used to be that they were making fun of kids on their phones. It's old people holding up traffic and it's walking slow. And
it's the modern human downfall of knocking it before you try it.
Yeah.
And that goes for anything, not just technology.
You said you were at Thanksgiving and your dad wouldn't get off his fucking phone.
No, I mean, it wasn't on Thanksgiving Day, but, it was like over the week that I was there. And my mom even made comments. She's like, he never gets off his phone. Sorry, Dad, I love you.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a problem necessarily, but it was just definitely a lot more than we were used to, I guess, growing up. I mean, obviously, technology has advanced, and you can be on your phone for a long time because there's so much stuff on there, but, growing up, you weren't going to fucking use the QWERTY board to type into internet and pay $100 a month to have access type stuff. So
Yeah.
you just turn on the Wi-Fi and go. Because it's easier. You can sit where you want to sit in the couch, watching TV. Oh, commercials on. Whip out my phone, and I don't have to go to the desk. I don't have to go to the study. I don't have to turn on the PC.
Do you have troubles trying to just chill? And do you focus your attention too much? Like, I always gotta I got too many things going on. I gotta always check my phone, and then I'm scrolling through stuff, and you're not really reading anything. Do you ever run into that?
Not that I have too much. I don't have enough.
Really?
Yeah. So some days if I don't have...
That's so opposite from the rest of the world, Corey.
If what I was thinking about all day is not available to me when I get home, or when I'm done with whatever I need to get done, I kind of feel like, oh, the rest of that stuff, all the other things that I have access to, all the books that you see in my room, all the card games, the board games, the video games, PC, PlayStation, Netflix, all that stuff that I have access to, if I don't have the thing that I was thinking about, like, for example, yesterday I was thinking about at work, man, I can't wait to go home and play Path of Exile. You know, I'm so close to doing some of the things that I wanted to get done, and I'm almost finished. And I log in yesterday, I get home, and they had wiped this, or the season had preemptively ended, because I didn't do my research and find out when it was supposed to end. So I was disappointed. I was like, for the next 30 minutes, I could just kind of like wandered around. I was like browsing my phone, swiping a little bit here and there. I was on Reddit. I went down to like post number 500. I was like, none of that shit really interested me, but it was, you know, that little bit of data that you get. I was outside. I'm still on my phone, and finally I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll force myself to find something to watch on Netflix, because I just wanted to be passive. You know, there wasn't something like, oh, I have this new game that I want to start, but I only have 2 hours, and I don't want to dive into that because, you know, I don't know. So I guess saying that I don't have enough to do is deluding myself. I'm deluding myself a little bit.
You got
like
too much to do.
Yeah.
There's too much awesome shit to do.
Yeah.
Like,
there's too much, and it's
nobody
like
should be
almost
bored.
overwhelming.
Yeah, it is. And you have to selectively focus your attention on what you want to do. And if it's like, if something's boring to you, you should definitely not be doing that, because there's way better other things. And anybody who says they're bored, fuck out of here. Like, you're bored? Nobody should be bored in 2019, right? Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
A kid who's bored?
If you're bored, you're doing that to yourself. Or
you're a boring person, yeah.
Or you're boring.
Because there's like a million awesome things out there that you could be...
that you can be doing at home. That doesn't require you to leave, or, you know, spend that much money, or... I don't know.
Yeah.
Helping yourself, at least.
Well, and even like with movies, it's like they keep on making movies, and movies don't go away. So we're talking about, barely, but we'll get to there. We're talking about a movie from 2000. That's 19 years ago. We'll get there. Before this, we were literally like, we gotta shorten these podcasts down. This is...
We didn't even get through the intro. We're talking about fucking AI. I was like, where are we going?
What are we doing? Totally off script. Yeah. Sounds good.
We're gonna cut this? Fuck no.
Alex, edit it.
Oh, he's not paying enough.
I want Alexa to edit it. That's what I want, a girl editor.
Who's the assistant on Joe Rogan's podcast?
That's Jamie Vernon.
Jamie Vernon.
Yeah.
Is he like? Does he have his own personality? Is it just like?
You know, I actually followed him on his Twitch stream, on his YouTube, and maybe on Twitter. And dude does not post that much. Like, I feel like you're giving up a great opportunity, because you're on the biggest podcast in the world.
The fact that I know who he is, or that I questioned who it was, means that
he's kind of a shy guy.
Yeah, means that I should be able to go on his social media and kind of find out what he does. But if he's just kind of like the sidekick,
he pretty much just buys Yeezys. That's kind of his thing. He buys Yeezys. He plays some video games.
Joe Rogan pays enough. I mean, who the fuck cares? You don't need.
How much do you think he's making? Probably a lot.
I wouldn't
not
say
Joe Rogan himself.
I wouldn't say it's
Jamie.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a shitload, but it's enough to make him obviously keep doing it.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
A year.
Right.
That's what he's making.
Right.
I bet.
And so why do anything else if you just have to be the
the
guy who throws up the link instantaneously?
You could pay someone to, like, you've definitely got the contacts and resources, and he runs probably the YouTube channel
right.
for
there's a lot of back-end stuff that he does.
So yeah, but I mean, working 40 hours a week, and you're high all day at work, because Jamie's definitely stoned all day. Like, every episode Jamie's stoned. I mean, that's pretty clear. But you could...
He's a functional stoner.
Oh, yeah, sure, for sure. And you could pay someone to run your own personal YouTube channel But if you're making money in the bank, then
He probably enjoys it too. Lucky bastard, doing what he loves.
yeah, dude. I gotta find that. I don't hate what I'm doing right now, but it's just not my. You and me both. That's kind of what we're doing. Hi guys.
Gladiator! Ridley Scott!
Oh, I want to finish my point real quick on the movies. Is that they don't go away. So in terms of like, oh, I can't find any good movies to watch. It's like you gotta. Hopefully, by listening to us or listening to people like us, or I mean, you can get that love of movies that we'll tell you 45 other movies that you should watch, like Gladiator, like the movies that we've watched, like Midsummer, like.
Dude, just do some fucking research if
Yeah.
you're bored and you can't find a movie.
Yeah.
Look at some lists, watch some videos on YouTube, listen to us, just go in a direction. You just kind of have to like dive in. You can't be like, oh, I don't want to because whatever excuse you're going to use.
Yeah.
Like you just
Well, there's a lot
have
of
to start.
duds out there though. So if you start a movie and like you get 20 minutes in and you're like, this doesn't seem like it's going anywhere good, like that sucks. That kind of that feeling makes
Sure,
you
but
not want to.
there's no sunk cost at that point unless you
just
rented
quit.
the movie and you bought the movie or you paid some sort of, but if you're able to access that movie for free, you just quit out of it and go to the next one. I don't think it's that difficult.
There's a lot of bullshit movies on Netflix.
Absolutely.
Like not good. Wasted
Oh,
time.
on Netflix
Yeah.
specifically? I think and that's just the tip of the iceberg of as far as shitty movies go. Like,
Dude, I was over in Spain and the Netflix there, if you get that European Netflix, great movies. Tons of good movies. And we come back here and they're all restricted. It's like you can't.
rating not suitable for you.
No, not even the rating and the restricted like that sense. It's just we don't have the licenses for
I see.
good movies. Like I'm
Right.
talking, I guess
The
Pulp
EU's
Fiction's on
got it
there.
locked up.
Yeah, you can use ExpressVPN. Sponsor? No, they sponsor a lot of podcasts, but I'm pretty sure you can use ExpressVPN and you can.
Plug!
Yeah. I was listening to their podcast. He was like, he would reach out for other sponsors and they don't know that they're a sponsor, but we'd like to name this product or service as a sponsor of this show and we recommend you go and buy from them. And then those sponsors heard about it and they actually sponsored the podcast. So we get our millions of followers to go do that. And
Nice. Y'all got any businesses we can promote? Just kidding. There's no one listening.
no one listening. You got to have people listening to have that happen, Corey.
So you just want to dive into the
Yeah.
to the review?
Yeah. What do you give it?
I give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Of course, it's on my top 5.
Yeah, you do your list out of 10 now.
You're right.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Okay. I'm doing the math.
You infected me
I
with your
think
5-star bullshit.
those are equivalent. 5 out of 5 and 10 out of 10. I'm a business major, so
Yeah. Figure that one out, idiot.
you guys should use your own calculators. And
5 divided by 5.
I'll give it a 3 or 4.
3,
Maybe
or
a-
4.
Maybe a 4.
Out
I
of
really did
5?
like it.
You did like it.
I did.
I felt like after we watched it, I remember you saying something like 3.5.
You're right. I think what I said was when I first watched it, it was like a 3, and then now it's like a 4.
Okay.
Yeah, because I did like it. I just didn't think it was like a blow me out of the water 5 out of 5. It was
It's
a
not.
solid
It's not a
movie.
modern movie where it's like fast paced. All right, here we go. Here's the facts. Bop bop bop. All right, get Russell Crowe on the screen. Get the supporting actors on the screen. Bop bop. It was. It's very methodical, and I kind of liked that it was like a little bit slower pace. Like as much as you like hate the Emperor and all that stuff, or you hate certain characters, or you really like certain characters, and all of a sudden they die or something like that. But you're always like rooting for. Oh no, what is his name?
Maximus?
Maximus Aurelius.
Yeah.
Maximus Aurelius. Protector of the North.
Maximus Aurelius. Yeah, there was like one other name.
Yeah. It's like his last name.
Who cares?
Fucked up.
Google it.
You guys do the facts.
You guys
know what? We don't know what we're talking about.
Why are you listening?
Jesus.
You know someone's
All right, we're done, guys.
someone's
We
like
fucked up.
looking at their screen going, why the fuck am I watching? You didn't fucking told me anything 25 minutes in. Tell me to Google stuff? Fuck these guys.
Yeah, pause our show. Go look up. Find out what his real name is.
Don't pause it.
I'm
Open
just
a new
kidding.
tab, because if you pause it, you're not coming back. I know how you bitches operate. Fucking click out of the video, never
Just kidding.
come
We
back.
love you.
Just kidding. Didn't mean it.
Dude, imagine how hard it was to be an actor and not break the fourth wall all the time. I mean, obviously those
In general, or you
those
just-
go in the bloopers, but I always like try
So
to
much
imagine.
pressure.
Yeah, I try to imagine myself being an actor. I would just after every scene he says cut, I would just like burst out laughing. And I would just
Yeah.
turn into my goofy self. Like
Yeah.
maybe it just would never be meant for a drama movie. It'd
No.
always be a comedy for me or something like that.
Dude,
but
actors are weird people because they can just like cry on command, and they can really sell it like they're crying. And it's like, what a weird human being that they can just get to that point. Like any emotion of the little circle of all the emotions you could possibly have, you could just tap into one, and it's like not just anger, it's like envious anger. You've seen that?
well, I always like to imagine everyone has like a fighting triangle. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, okay, like
Where
Pokemon.
Yeah, no. Is it Pokemon? I feel like it's any fighting game.
Okay.
Well, if you look at the fighting game, and on the screen you'll show like different strengths, like speed, attack, defense, special, all this. Like humans have these things.
You're saying
and,
Pokemon.
And what do you mean?
That's kind of Pokemon, right?
Like you have a weakness and a strength?
Yeah.
Yeah,
kinda.
but that it's obviously humans are so much more multi-dimensional that. So if you take a 360-degree circle and you only allowed a certain, maybe not. Some people are born with a lot more points than others, unfortunately.
Charisma.
No, well, Jesus Christ.
Can you just go with your point, please, and just don't listen to me? Just barrel through if I interrupt.
Was that like a Fallout reference?
No, charisma is like the stat that actors have a high stat in charisma.
Oh. I thought like charisma or like, in Skyrim and those type of games, if you have a higher charisma score, every time you level up, you get more points to put into your thing. You know what I'm talking about? Did you ever
That's
play
intelligence.
No, it's not
Yeah.
always. It's not always the same
Yeah,
stat.
that's not always, dummy. Of course it's not always. Nothing's always.
All right, we're barreling through that one. Call me dummy one more time. You're going to do a solo
Fucking
podcast.
idiot. Hey guys, welcome. This is Kuhlman here. And the Kuhlman and Corey podcast.
Corey died. This is, we're going to take a couple moments of silence.
What was your point with the fighter card?
Well, that's what I mean. Like humans have like different skills that they're kind of born with, and as an actor, you're going to obviously increase your charisma as much as you can, and that's the skill that you're honing. But the rest of your skills are obviously going to suffer. Like you're not going to be good, at handling people. Some people are just antisocial as actors, or they're very, very good at acting, but the rest of their kind of, instead of being a well-rounded person as far as empathy or intelligence or all those different things, you kind of sacrifice that in order to be able to cry on command.
You're giving up your ability to like manage people in a workplace or some other skill that people develop.
And if you didn't sacrifice something and the rest of your life still remains well-rounded and you're still able to do those type of amazing feats in front of a camera, then those are the people who end up above the rest, like your top tier type of thing. And that applies almost, of course, that applies to all ranges of any vocation.
You ever seen Tom Cruise really interact with someone? Like off screen, like not like
an interview or just not on camera or candidly almost.
Yeah. You ever seen him?
I can't recall anything like.
Because he's big into the Scientology thing, and Scientology's very about like.
Didn't he like step down or something? Did he quit?
I don't know the latest news on him.
I didn't remember he was in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's up there on the pulpit preaching like Jesus.
Someone on Good Morning America or some shit, like they have a bunch of people outside. He was saying hi to everybody. Maybe it was like the red carpet, and someone squirted him with like a juice box or something, and it got all over him. And he shook this person's hand, and he just intensely looked at this person, and like it's almost like he was casting a spell on them. He said, "Why did you do that?" And it was just so intense, and he tapped into that actor Scientology wizard focus. They just why and the person who did it was kind of like joking, like ha, and then like totally got like freaked out. It was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." I'm like. And he's like, "You shouldn't do that to people." Like, and he just scolded him like a dad to a child, and that was a weird part of that. Like, Tom Cruise is like tapped into what makes people. That what do I need to convey to you, that I'm serious, but also like, and so I'm sure he's a crazy person.
A lot of people don't like his
personal
like,
life.
acting.
I love him. I love him as an actor.
I think he's a well-rounded person.
Besides
the Scientology shit. Sorry, dude, you
but
need to get off that.
Everyone knows.
I mean, I know you're getting rich and you have a shitload of money and you can get into whatever movie you want, but that's not a good look.
he's doing his life. We don't know anything about it, and
I would like to think I do. If he's a famous person, I want to know everything about him. That's a lie. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't care.
Everything about
You don't
any
care.
famous
You don't
person.
give a shit. What are you? You're like lying to my face. I know you care very deeply. But no, Russell Crowe. Like, it's funny that in this movie that Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know how you say his name.
So you have to use an accent in order properly.
Jodacum Phoenix.
I actually don't know either. Should we?
Joaquin.
Well, Google. If I type.
You know the little lady that says, like the like Siri almost, but like she tells you how to pronounce stuff.
Right. That's what I mean.
You ever
If
seen
I
the video of people doing that incorrectly, where they tell you the wrong thing? I want to show you that real quick.
Joaquin Phoenix. How do I say his name? It won't say. It's not gonna say. We'd have to look up a video, and they would pronounce his name like in the video. Like, this is the the mini reaction. No, it's not gonna say his name in this one either. I think it's Joaquin. Joaquin.
Lie, Parmesan, Chessie, Escape. Hello.
Escape.
It's Chief. Ghost Cervicus, Maleke Shakas, Adiotriums, Traveris Wayne Titty, Booty Condiments, we at Houlihan. What y'all eating? What's on the menu? Steak and Robus, Boobilis, Gorinicus, Bootyless. Niggas and Tinnicus and people to
We'll link that. No, maybe not. But it's just a funny video of people saying things incorrectly.
Mispronouncing it.
Yeah.
Like Chipotle. I do
Chipotle?
I do that all
Yeah.
the time. Chipotle.
Yeah.
Sponsor.
Dude, if we got sponsored by Chipotle, I would never eat anything else.
Gift cards, guys. Give us gift cards. I love it, dude. I love that people show up to those guys' comedy show. They're like, "Here's a fucking gift card. You already paid for my show, and you're gonna give me a gift card on."
If
top."
anyone's lost, it's because comedians. No, I almost said comedians in cars getting coffee, but that's the show that they like.
That's the show that they would give anything to be on.
And that's for us. That show is Tuesdays with Stories with Joe List and Mark Norman.
Sure.
That
do you would you base our podcast more on that or Joe Rogan?
Obviously we're like neither of them,
Okay.
but I see us as just being an entertainment channel that's mostly a capture of our friendship, that we talk about movies because that's what we like.
Gotcha.
This episode we've gone crazy.
Yeah.
We're just but we genuinely watched Gladiator with the intention to talk about it. We liked it, and then we get on the mic and I turned up fucking and you're rolling with it because you don't
I
care.
have to. I'm stuck here, dude. The fucking mic's on. What am I supposed to do?
Having a good time.
Michael, let me know when you're done. I'll be back.
Yeah, I swear we're not on drugs or anything. We're
Nope.
just
We are on drugs. Sugar and coffee is.
sugar and coffee. Yeah,
Those are
that's
drugs.
Sugar really is a drug if you think about it. It's like
Yeah, did you
People
know,
get
like, in the
addicted to it.
20s that, like, sugar companies did, like, a huge tobacco-style, like, marketing thing to, like, hey, all the reason that you guys have these health problems, it's not sugar, even though it was, and they, like, skewed the
they
results
paid
of...
scientists to lie
yeah,
about
Yeah,
the negative effects of
Yeah.
sugar.
which is
They
exactly
blamed it
what-
on saturated fat.
Yeah.
When then for years, because growing up in the 80s, 90s,
Right.
And early 2000s, people were on the Atkins diet because it's low. No, they criticized the Atkins diet, right? Because it was high in saturated fat.
Right.
Like eggs and bacon and stuff. And
Turns
it turns
out-
out that that stuff isn't nearly as bad for you. That stuff is bad for you in combination with sugar.
Right.
And if you eliminate the sugar, that stuff's not as bad for you. It doesn't
Right.
cause heart disease. Don't fucking listen to me.
100% sugar. Like, it's it's absurd to me that when I started working at the hospital, that they were serving... There was a fucking soda machine. And all of us could get soda whenever we want for free. I was like, is this a
This is
restaurant?
backwards ass.
Yeah. I was like,
we're a health organization.
where
here.
is the sign on this soda that, you know, they kind of did this, like, this is a healthy option, this is a meaty option, this is, like, once a day thing. And there's no sign on the soda machine. There's no sign on the cups, like,
They
hey,
would
restrict
encourage you
this.
to eat healthy food, but then they don't care about the soda.
Right.
Like, what are we
Well,
doing?
literally, there's
They
more
would say-
sugar in this drink than...
Balance what you eat and drink and do.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Why are you leaving it up to the people to make these intelligent decisions? Like, if people are going to make the
Don't
intelligent
offer it.
decision, they wouldn't be in the hospital. Like, hello. Don't offer it.
don't offer it.
Yeah, because when we went to Shenandoah, they took the sodas away. They're like, get
Good.
that shit out of here. Drink water, you dummies.
Yeah.
And we did, and I gained a shitload of weight.
Actually, I profited off of that because me and my friends would go to Food Lion. We'd buy the cheap... the Food Lion. We get the
Dr.
cheapy...
Thunder.
Dr. Thunder! And we would sell that shit for $1.
What was the Mountain Dew called? Shock? Something lightning?
something. I don't know. It was like Mountain Thunder. I don't know.
That sounds about right. But I always remember Doctor Thunder.
Yeah. I hope I'm not shouting too much. And
Yeah, look at all those spikes. We get to watch as we
Fuck,
record.
dude.
We get to watch all.
this is just a recorded hang session, I guess. This nobody's.
Blowing your eardrums and blowing your dicks.
We went there. Moving on. We'll bleep it out. No. We're never bleeping anything out.
Is there a word you would never say?
Yeah, definitely. Slurs.
Okay.
Yeah, and is it worth me saying no? Because I just have like a free speech idea about how like it's bad to be racist and it's bad to be homophobic, but words cannot be racist or homophobic.
Yeah.
People and
What's the
ideas
saying?
can be.
Sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never hurt me.
Yeah, and so I'm not going to say the words, even though I don't have a problem with them personally. I don't use that language like in my personal life. I don't find it that funny. I mean, I'm sure everybody said those words when they were growing up years ago, but now it's just not socially acceptable. Like the F slur word. You used to call your friends that when you're 16. I used to. I don't know, but I don't want to speak for you. You probably used to or whatever.
I probably did.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just not socially acceptable now, and I don't think the word is the problem. It's the people being homophobic, and
Yeah.
But how do you indicate that someone's homophobic? And we should put that behavior down.
The people that are using those words, if they're using it in a public setting, it's usually in a negative connotation.
Yeah, if in a public setting,
they're using it to damage people or to put them down or to compare them to something that they think is lesser than
That's
what
gross.
the person is, and that's just hate speech.
Yeah,
And hate speech is never good, no matter what, where it's coming from, what kind of word it is. If it's said in a hateful way, then it's really bad. But we've overcompensated, like most of society ever does. It's like,
yeah,
ban this word, don't say it, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then there's like exceptions that but people inside the community can still do it or whatever. It's like, make up your mind.
Well, I just don't care that much. I don't think about it. Like, I wish people weren't so sensitive.
Right.
If someone says it, like, I think we should be able to say it in movies to point to a homophobic character, but you can't even do that now. Like, if someone said the F slur word in Stranger Things, they would get canceled.
Yeah,
But
it would never make
yeah,
it on. Yeah,
the bully in high school. Now I'm hoping that this didn't actually happen, but I'm pretty sure it didn't happen, or in Stranger Things. But the bully in the 80s probably called the other kids the F slur word. So I mean, that's just like it's almost like revisionist history.
yeah.
You
It's
know?
like we're the victors, so we get to choose. Like society's at this point, so we can go back and say that
Yeah.
that's what we said at that time. This wasn't how things
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
kind of
think
shitty because
people-
we're supposed to be able to learn from history, but history has been altered so much that
It's
we
like
don't really
censoring
know
it.
the facts.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have a high appreciation for people who go back and look at Gladiator times or that type of stuff, and they're able to like put the pieces together and be like, "This is what we have, like written word, but that's not, even that was altered. Like here's the actual facts," and be able to put those pieces together. I really
Primary
enjoy that
sources
stuff.
versus
Yeah,
secondary sources.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like what happened like in American history, which is super recent, and we still can't get those facts right, or people forget about.
The Civil War, I was reading about that in a Wikipedia article. Totally revisionist history.
Yeah.
I mean, we've ignored the things that we just think Confederacy was bad. They had a president. They had like a Congress, and they had real, like, they were advocating for states' rights, and which is like a conversation that we can't just go, "Oh, you guys are a bunch of racist Southern Democrats. Screw off, and you guys never won anything."
Right.
It's like,
Which also, not to say that we endorse the
No, we're
the Confederacy. Don't use that flag.
We're
It
from
represents
Maryland.
Something really horrible.
yeah.
And I don't know. That's weird. That's a weird topic, but
It's a weird topic,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think that
It's a
our
dicey
generation
topic.
so I was thinking about I have to measure change in my job a lot. Do you think people measurably have gotten less racist over time?
oh yeah.
I think so too, but how do you measure it?
Well, you can't measure it because with our modern day technology, with the access that people have to be able to, in real time, see what's being said or what's on the news or what's happening around the world, there's just so much more exposure. Like, you can throw on your phone, you can have a voice, you can throw it on YouTube, exactly like we're doing. We literally don't have a setup. We have a gaming computer, a microphone, and we're just talking about movies.
Are we? Continue on.
So people have access to a phone, and that does almost exactly the same thing in a shittier quality, but you're still able to put your voice on a platform, and has enabled people for the crazies, kind of, I would say, to be louder. Like, it used to be like, oh, if you said something and your community didn't agree with you, you'd kind of be like shunned, like shut up. That's not what we represent. We don't want that as part of our community. And it was,
But do you think
easier to suppress it?
Do you think that the person who might have grown up in a crazy family, who might have gone on to be crazy, like let's just say a person who lives in Louisiana, in like a trailer park. I'm not trying to pick on just a white kid who lives with a racist family and trailer park. He grows up and he would have been racist because he heard his generations above dropping N-bombs and talking about certain people and just Mexicans this and all that hateful stuff. But then they go on YouTube and they go on the internet and they realize that is kind of seen as not that great. He still loves his family, but I'm going to not be like that. And I'm going to go to university and I think that's the story of our generation. I think that how do you measure that from that person would have gone on to be racist because everyone would have been racist, but now that person is part of the group and in the better way to think that we all can get along. Now you can actually go to a workplace and work alongside people of different ethnicities and you get along better for it. And maybe you have a southern accent and but you bring your culture and your way of being. I don't know. Can we measure? I think that has occurred for everybody.
I still stand by what I say. I think we are definitely, if you were able to measure it, or if you can try to take, both accounts into perspective, compensating for whatever you want to compensate for, definitely better now than it was before. But the way that I think that we're not handling it properly is instead of telling those people or the crazies or people who are being loud about controversial topics or even, using hate speech, instead of telling them to shut the fuck up, we should try to be a little bit more like open with them. Not to encourage dialogue so that they can get a higher platform or whatever, but we don't need to there doesn't need to be literally no acceptance. Like, hey, we respect your opinion. We think it's wrong, but why don't you come listen to us?
The reason I became from a conservative to more of a liberal, which I currently stand now, is because I didn't like the judgment from conservatives, and I felt they were too judgy. Yeah. I think the same thing with liberals and trying to be is that it's too much judgment on those people that are still trying to figure it out. Yeah. And I think that's what you
need to be more accepting. You don't need to accept their ideas, but accepting of the person so that you can ingratiate them into you're not going to be able to change the person by, aggression is not the answer. Excommunication is not the answer. Lack of communication. That's the same
shunning
thing.
People, canceling them.
Right.
This is not.
If you shut them up, then they're it's like weed. If you cover up the weed, it's gonna grow out a different way.
And then you pick it up and you smoke it, and you need to smoke more weed. Is I think what you're saying.
Yeah. That was good segue.
Good segue.
Yeah. I'm sorry I used weed as the example.
Yeah, but it is like a weed. It's like it gets you're exactly right. You cut it off at the top there, and it's gonna grow somewhere different. Right. It's just
you got to hit the root. In order to hit the root, you have to use our knowledge as far as how we approach humans. How do we approach any other symptom that is in the brain? You have therapy, you group sessions, you talk with someone. But if you just try to shut them up and shut them down, you're not fixing
effective.
The problem.
It's why free speech is the most important thing, which is why when our generation is a little bit sensitive about what words you say, it's guys, words are symptoms. The real problem is hatred and being racist or being homophobic, which I don't think many of us are. And you can't just say that means this because you're putting judgment on it. So yeah, I don't.
More acceptance, less judgment, less hate, more peace, love, happiness.
Yeah,
that's it. That's Corey the hippie.
Yeah. No, but it's pretty good. I mean, I love the trajectory of where things are going. We've got some hitch-ups, but if you'd asked me about pop culture when I was...
right?
Yeah, hiccups.
Hitchups?
Hitchups? Hiccups? They're both kind of the same thing.
Pickups? Sorry.
I was going to let you go.
I was waiting for you. You gotta riff with me.
Probably
I had to explain what riffing
added.
was to a boomer the other day.
You know-
Hi, Uncle Boomer. It's like, what's riffing? I was like, well, you just kind of like go off on a riff.
We got a podcast named Riffing. You should...
That's why he was asking.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, hey, I saw the link. He's like, what the hell is riffing? I was like, ooh, we're just...
Going back
like,
and forth. And
yeah,
just
we're just...
fucking around.
Yeah, I guess that... I forgot how I described it, obviously, in the phone call, but I was like, it's weird. It definitely is like a modern term. I hope we didn't make it up. Or
No,
I hope
no, no.
the people that we listen to aren't making it
Riffing
up.
comes from music, like jazz. We're going to jam.
Yep, that's jamming.
Jamming, but riffing.
Riffing is more like
Conversation.
for words, right?
Yeah. I mean, you should know what that means. It's like jiving. It's like
Yeah,
vibing.
but I don't fucking Google the definition. What is Siri?
It's 'cause you should
Okay,
know.
Google. What does riffing mean? It's not
Dude,
listening.
Spotify gave me, because I'm a premium member, I got free Google Home. It's in the mail. It's coming here. So we're gonna be talking to it. We got a little assistant.
No, I don't want them in my home. It's
It's
enough
free.
that he's walking around with me all day.
Dude, it's the way of the future. Get over it.
I like my privacy.
I do too. I'm actually kind of scared of that, but I don't know what to do about it.
Shun, shun.
I mean, how can you can't be off the grid.
You can't. I sometimes I fantasize about it just because of how much bullshit you have to deal with as an adult. It's just
Yeah.
like, get the fuck out, go live in Colorado. Not because it's a weed legal state, but that's a bonus.
But that's I'm
But-
also gonna get weed.
You grow weed in the back, you grow your vegetables, you live in a cabin, just one with the world, but you just get bored. Like
Yeah.
me as a millennial, I cannot imagine life without the internet. Like it's just opened up so many possibilities for me. This podcast included, being able to watch movies, being able to be a part of the worldwide community is just so important that I can never. I fantasize about it, but now I always like rationalize myself back to like, nah, it's fine.
I'm optimistic about where we are currently and where we're going, and I'm not sure I could say the same thing when I was growing up. Like you just
And
see
by
all
we,
this-
you mean like society. Modern.
everybody my age that I meet is like pretty. Like we like what's going on. That's a bullshit way to say it, but
Hypothetical, if you could kill all the older people and millennials went into power and the prominent viewpoint.
well, obviously that's what's happening by us, the generation that's growing up.
Sure, but it's going to be
starts to
on a
take
slower
over.
Say tomorrow, it's like, oh, everyone over the age 55
Well, obviously you wouldn't like that. It
went
wouldn't
off
be good.
into space and populated
There's
Mars.
something good about every generation, and there's good people. And I know some of my favorite people are from all generations, and I love them. That being said, people our age group, with the way technology is and the way we're right in this perfect cusp of we could figure out stuff, but still stuff's coming in new, but we're a little bit older. Like I'm way more prepared at 27 than I was at 15, just for the world and my life skills and what I've already gathered so far. Yeah, I think kill off all the other generations. Not that we want that to happen, but we'd be good. I like our
It's a
position.
hypothetical question.
Yeah,
I'm not a
nobody's-
totalitarian.
Nobody's toilet will be fixed.
Speaking of totalitarian,
And
Caesar.
Caesar. Okay, all right. No derailments. Let's talk about Gladiator.
No, continue. I was just.
No, let's talk about Gladiator. I
just
want to.
riffing, okay.
Let's talk
All right,
about
we
it for a
got-
solid 15 minutes.
We got
We
40
Gladiator.
48 minutes in. We talked about it for 5. We'll give it 12 more minutes and we'll just stop right there.
Sure. So this
the
is.
worst
Are we calling this
ever.
Gladiator? What are we calling this episode? Is this Gladiator? And,
Gladiator what?
Gladiator and
0.5.
bullshit?
Yeah. We could do like a clever name of like
This is so meta.
the Colosseum. The Colosseum's fight today is our lives versus our ideal. Our real lives versus our ideal lives. And our ideal lives, we'd be talking about this movie from
Would you call this?
minute 5.
Would you call this movie an epic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
epic.
100%.
Yeah.
And most people are like, they think, well, the first thing I thought when you said epic was like Odysseus or something that I read in English class when I was a fucking sophomore in high school. But I haven't read many like epics since then. Or watched.
Watched. Ben-Hur came out.
Oh yeah, you liked that movie.
Ben-Hur was a 5 out of 5 movie. Great visual, like art, like the makeup. It was just striking the way that people looked, and it wasn't overt. they had Jesus in there, and that was kind of an interesting little. He was like a little side character, a little side mission that is kind of cool, and he was like healing people. I don't know what he was doing. They had really cool chariot scenes, really cool, just a story of a guy going from nothing to becoming a big deal, Ben-Hur, and that was just awesome. This movie kind of reminded me of that. Starts off as a actually
this movie would be like the basis for Ben-Hur almost, right? Like they would base it on like an origin story, I guess, of Maximus. And the same thing for Ben-Hur is like, this is how he starts. It's usually like, come up from nothing, but this is kind of like, that's why I kind of like the Gladiator. He's like, you see him at his highest potential, He's about to be, for spoilers, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah. It is,
yeah.
Go watch this movie before you, yeah. And then, I don't know why you'd listen to us, but watch us after.
Come back, please! But he starts
off as a general, and he's a loyal, trusted servant of the general of the king, of the emperor.
Yeah, and for like,
Caesar.
If you haven't seen it, think like a 5-star general, one of the highest generals to the president.
And he leads his men to victory, and then comes back and kind of puts his head
finishes
down.
The conquest of the northern
Germany, right?
Yeah, northern Gaelic
Gaul
provinces. Gaul.
Was it Gaul?
Gaul.
I've heard that word before.
It's north UK.
Well, that's way far away.
What do you mean?
From Rome? Think about it.
Yeah, that's why it took them weeks to get back to Rome. That's why when you see the emperor come back into town, and everyone's like, "Oh, we're not really sure about this new emperor guy because the other emperor died while he was on conquest in."
Well, the emperor's son kills him.
Right.
Kills the father.
That's what I mean. But it takes so long for the emperor to come back with the whole fucking
army. Yeah.
Battalion. What is it called? Centurions. Damn it.
Yeah, Legion.
Legion. That's the right word.
Legion's a badass word.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Legion. Legion's End.
Legion's End. Good card.
Just all over the place.
Everywhere. No one's going to be able to catch up.
No direction. You guys find a fucking compass.
If you guys know everything that we said in this podcast, high fucking five. Yeah.
Can you friend me?
Yeah. We got a room for you. We'll put you on the couch.
We don't have a room.
All right. We don't have a room for you. Sorry.
You can visit.
You can visit, though.
As often as you want, if you know what we're talking about. If you enjoy this at all, DM me.
We want to hang out. Like,
all you haters, suck a dick.
What are we doing? You can't speak like that to people. Expect them to listen. So yes,
you take. That's why it's so far away. Like, I'm surprised that you didn't catch that. Like, that it was a northern England conquest, and that's why it was so far away. Like, it's almost as far away as like Rome trying to capital. Or
there's definitely a son-father dynamic going on between Maximus and the emperor.
Yeah.
And then a jealous son.
Real son. Blood-related son.
Yeah, who is constantly... He desperately needs his father's attention and his approval. And because he's not getting it, that's kind of like the Cain and Abel trope. Right. Or whatever. And so Cain is like, I'm doing everything that I can possibly do for you, Dad, and you're not accepting my offering.
Trying too hard.
Yeah, and Abel's like just better at it.
Yeah.
So I always had like troubles wrapping around my mind because like, is Cain the bad guy? It's like, yes, in this case he's the bad guy, but he's a flawed character, and all of us have flaws, and it's two sides of each of us. There's the bad and the good, but the bad is not bad for stupid reasons. Like, Hitler thought he was right, and he convinced enough people to get him elected.
We just lost everyone listening to us because you're
Hitler.
Heil
Hitler is what I'm saying. And we're going to end it right there. No, dude, what the fuck? I'm making a point here that nobody
ever fucking say that Hitler was a good person in front of
no, he thought... of course he wasn't a good person. Idiot. I'm American, okay?
Don't try to...
I played Wolfenstein. I know... I shot lots of Nazis before. My Nazi kill count is way high.
You know what's funny? This reminds me of my brother. When I went to visit my family, my brother...
fucking shouting in the mic. Okay, what about your brother? Is your brother Nazi? Is that what you're
No.
Sorry, Jared.
No. That's the other one. Philip. He's obviously my brother. Not as close as we should be, but ever since we grew up, he always had the, like, proclivity to kind of, like, bring up these obscure... like trains of thought.
He's an edgy guy.
Yeah, super edgy. And like, so we're like interacting with my family, and you know, he's a nerd just like me, and probably a little bit more, and he stays on the same games and stuff like that, and a Reddit browser, and you know, he tries to keep his pulse on what's going on. But he would like bring up these references that I fucking guarantee my aunt and uncle have no idea what he's talking about. I was just at one of the last dinners, I was like, you do that on purpose, don't you? He's like, yeah, I just see if people will catch on. I was like, so it's like a conversation starter for you. It's like if they don't catch on, you try to explain it, and then he's like, usually it doesn't like catch on, and the person's or the whoever you're talking to just kind of like, what? He's like, yeah. I was like, all right, that's your approach. Like, I try.
That's not what I was trying to do by explaining about Hitler. I'm just saying that the road to...
No, I'm just talking, that's our approach right now to this podcast, is that we're trying to, like, do on this Gladiator thing, and it's like, bird!
Squirrel!
Squirrel!
Dude, I've been having a good time. I always worry that we're not going to have anything to talk about, and then we turn this thing on, and...
Yeah, the last 55 minutes of this podcast, I feel like the thought has entered your brain like at least 10 times, like, oh, we're deleting this shit. We're going to start over.
Yeah. Kind of. It's its own animal, dude. It's
scrub.
It becomes its own thing, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and that's kind of the... What was his name? He had kind of an evil-sounding name. The son of the emperor. Played by Joe Queen.
Oh, I don't know. I
Joe
don't remember his name. He was just called...
Played by the Joker.
He was just called the Emperor, though, for the rest of the...
Yeah.
For the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And so then Maximus gets put on like a slave... Was it like a slave ship? Or somewhere along the lines he finds out his family got...
The son wants to kill him. He's
yeah.
like, no, my dad already tried to tell me, or the emperor that he killed, that he stabbed in the back, or I guess he suffocated him.
Yeah.
I'm not sure like how historically accurate this movie was. That's what I meant to
Probably
do.
Probably not at all.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Sure?
Who cares?
Well, yeah, I meant to do that research before we started this, but, you know. Who does preparation work anymore?
No one's
Who
listening.
studies for anything anymore?
The good thing is no one's making it to the end. If they clicked on this video, they're not listening to this point.
There's no one listening.
There's no
anyway.
one, so we're good. Yeah.
So he kills his dad, but not before his dad. He kills his dad because he told him that Maximus was going to be emperor instead of him. So instead of the natural succession of like my son's taking over for me, it's like actually I'm going to get this other guy because I have all exclusive power, and I'm going to bring him up. He's fit to be a leader, and his son's like, fuck that, I'm killing you before you're able to tell anyone that. But Maximus already knew because the emperor told Maximus. So Maximus is like ready, and then he finds out he's not. So the son, or the new emperor now, the old emperor's son, I really need to get these names down.
Yeah, Joe Queen Phoenix.
So everyone following understands who the fuck I'm talking about. Commodus.
Commodus, was that the son's name?
That's the son's name.
Oh, I thought it was like a Septimus.
Marcus Aurelius is actually a real emperor, and I believe Commodus did in fact kill Marcus Aurelius as the son and took over.
I actually read about it a little bit. So
okay.
Commodus was a real figure, and he was not popular. He increased the Gladiator games, and he tried to put his name on a bunch of the money and that was not popular because he tried to make it all about him, almost like a Nero figure.
Yeah, and this is in a time where Rome was trying to go to a republic and get away from the emperor, kind of like how we have now, where we have the president.
Impeach.
Jesus.
Sorry, that's a whole nother. I watched every minute of that testimony.
I know. Every time I walk in,
every minute's an exaggeration, but I did watch 80%.
Yeah, you turn it on YouTube and you set it to 1.5 speed, so you.
Dude, senators and congressmen sound normal. Like if you put it on 1.5% speed.
Right.
You're talking like how we're talking now.
Yeah. I mean, I only knew it because when they would talk at a faster rate, and I would hear it, and I'd be like, "Oh, he has it on a higher speed." But normally, it sounds like a normal conversation. Oh, you guys aren't talking like.
I love all that legal shit.
Everything you say is going on
I love
record.
It. Pretty partisan, though.
Yeah.
It's all bullshit, but.
Isn't the definition of politics like bullshit?
No, that's
faking it.
Yeah, no. Politic is poly is many, and tick is a blood sucking. So many blood suckers.
Nice.
Yeah, but that's not true. That's not how words work. The etymology of those words. Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
No sarcasm. That's not how sarcasm works either. Anyway, so
No, it's really not true. That's a
that politics are bloodsuckers.
yeah. That's not. It's not a correct etymological.
You made that shit up right there.
No, etymological is the word. Don't put your phone down.
Go-
Don't.
Damn it, it won't work.
Good.
Oh, just kidding, it did.
Go away.
Yeah.
All right, should we even call this Gladiator? Y'all see the movie? It's an epic. Good fight scenes, dude. I was thinking that they should have had John, the guy who did the fight choreography in the last 19 years. Fight choreography for movies has gotten real good. It's gotten much better. So,
Sure, but you also have the technology now to do it. Back in
Sure.
those days, they had
What technology?
a stationary camera. Like, you didn't have like all this, you know. There's so much like
the year
if you
2000, dude, they had a bunch of shit.
Yeah, but if you went on the set of a 2019 film of John Wick 3 and you go back and you look at Gladiator on set, like
It's all about
the
the
cameras
choreographers.
were way the fuck back there so they can capture all of this, and they have a little bit of a green screen. Now everything's kind of just like green screen room, and the rest of the stuff.
You
is
could have
added
done
in.
those fights in without a set, without a green screen, on set, like in a.
Let's go back
fake-
for the next podcast. We'll watch movies that are in the 2000s that have a focus on.
Whatever you say we're gonna do, we're probably not
Combat.
gonna do. But I
Sure.
hear you. I hear your idea.
Well, you know, you gotta lead the listener on a little bit.
Okay, all right. So next episode,
Next-
check it out. So what are we gonna do?
We're gonna look. God damn it. We're gonna look for movies in that same time period
Good.
who are critically acclaimed for their fight scenes. So
Okay.
if you didn't like the fights in Gladiator scenes, which I loved, I love
like
the
them too.
scene in Carthage where they do the battle and you get Maximus to rally his fellow gladiators around and they kind of beat the system or the stacked odds that were set against them. Like, people come out in chariots and they still beat it because
You're referring to when they put on like this fake play where all the gladiators have to fight off.
Commodus sets like 150 days of Colosseum days, and each day is going to have like or the weekends, I guess, would have like the big battles of Roman history, and this one just happens to be the Battle of Carthage. And in the real history of Carthage, the horde destroys the Roman legion, and so the gladiators play the Roman legion, and then these other black people on chariots, on chariots and horses, and they have arrows and spears and spikes on the side of the wheels. They're supposed to destroy these gladiators because gladiators are separated. Well, Maximus takes his
General
legion mentality and is like, how many of you have served in the army? And
follow me.
90% of them have raised their hand and they know what to do, and he ends up,
winning,
changing quote the course of history or what was supposed to be portrayed. And Commodus turns to like the
which was a good scene.
games operators like, is
But
this
if they had a good fight choreographer doing that, I think that scene could have been.
I still think it was good.
Okay.
Why you got to be such a hater? Get that hate speech out of here. We just talked about that.
Pro hate speech, free speech.
I mean, to be fair, John Wick ruins like every fight scene ever. So
Because it's so good.
yeah, like once you watch John Wick 3 or any of the John Wick movies and you watch the combat in that, or a Jackie Chan movie as well, I'd put Jackie Chan up there as far as like, because any movie that he's part of the production and the direction, usually he takes that combat in a very serious mood instead of like, oh, we're gonna do these cuts, which is most of what Hollywood does. If you ever have like a fight scene or a gun scene or
fast, quick edits are bullshit. By the way,
right.
I want show me what's happening and show it clear, and leave that fucking camera stable and just do it in real time, because that's what they did with John Wick with the
you want authenticity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I agree that Gladiator didn't have that great authenticity, but I still think it was very well done for its time.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed like all the Gladiator stuff. Like the rest of the stuff as a young kid, I was falling asleep to. Like, oh, I don't care about what Commodus is doing with his sister. Like, she's hot. Get with her, dude, or the son.
Yeah,
or
do it. Whatever. Talk. Yeah.
Or like the whole thing of like, rewatching it now, I kind of like put all the pieces together as far as like what was happening. His sister is trying to like overthrow him. She realizes he's bad. She's in cahoots with the Senate, and they're all trying to get Maximus to like, hey, we have a plan for you. Just stick with us. Bring your legion that's stationed out of the city, and we'll overthrow this government. But Commodus has his elite legion of protectors, and we can't get in there. Blah blah blah. All these pieces. You don't pay attention to that shit as a little kid, but I still thoroughly enjoyed the movie because of the fight scenes, because of the music addition to it is just
Yeah.
so many pieces. There may be a weaker piece
a great story,
of
too.
of combat, but the rest of the pieces compensate for it.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
that's why I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, I mean, the story is so good about a man who kind of loses everything and then comes back and hits it big and dies a good death.
I love his journey, and I hated how it ended. I was like, why? He's such a good guy. He deserves to be kind of the leader. Like
he never
should've
was
won
going
it.
to get everything he wanted back.
Right.
So him dying is like,
He was literally a martyr for for democracy and
and he kills the evil emperor.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it was a good story.
I love one of my favorite parts is where Commodus asks for a blade after Maximus disarms him, and he looks at his royal guard and he's like, "Sword, give me a sword, anyone." And his commander is like, "Shield, sheath your swords. Sheath your swords." He doesn't give him, and he ends up losing because he thinks he can use the advantage of his people, and he pulls out a knife, and Maximus is still able to like turn the tables on him, and it's like,
And we should also mention that the evil brother stabs him before the fight, so he's playing dirty. And then they get out to the arena, and then Maximus still beats him. And Commodus, that's when Commodus looks to his, after he gets disarmed, looks to his leader, his commander, general guy, and says, "Give me your sword." And that's when he says, "No, you got to fight fair." Like, one-on-one.
You already cheated. We can already see the blood coming down his tunic because you disarmed him. He doesn't have armor.
Yep.
You threw his sword on the ground, and you have that knife up your fucking shin. Or
hidden.
Yeah.
So good
Music.
Great music.
Obviously, it was Hans Zimmer. I think Joe Quinn did great as Commodus.
He's still kicking it with the Joker, dude. Fucking awesome movie. That gets a 5 out of 5.
Yep. That'll be episode 15.
Okay.
We'll have to go back and listen to all of our podcasts up until this point to remember.
If anyone listens to this wants us to watch a movie, like, comment.
Yeah.
And I'd love to talk about it. I mean, let's get that engagement going. Let's
call in.
Call in. My number is not doing it. Not doing it.
Dude, no one's listening. Who cares?
No one's listening. It doesn't matter.
Just Google and Siri.
Are you happy with that? Let's call it.
Hopefully, yeah.
Next movie you want to do? Who cares about talking about? We'll do an analysis more in depth of the next movie.
Sure. But I like how quick and short this one.
Good.
This one was. I
Yeah,
think we spent a total of 20 minutes on the movie and 45.
We're gonna call it
7 minutes.
barely Gladiator or something like Gladiator somewhat. I'm not. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Work in progress. We got something on paper, and by paper I mean
YouTube
audio. Yeah.
In the history books forever.
Yep. Can't get rid of it now. Well,
still could.
That's it for episode 6, boys. This is not a post-screen edit. I just literally got closer to the mic, and this is our outro. And so have a great day and suck their dicks, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah.
Bye, Michael.
See you guys.